Darkness moved across the surface of the water long before the boat arrived. The lake lay stretched beneath a heavy sky, its surface trembling with the faintest shiver, as though something beneath it stirred in restless anticipation. The wind carried a strange charge, the kind that burned cold at the edges and whispered of unseen things waiting just beyond the veil of the natural world. Travelers avoided these shores. Even fishermen who knew these waters like the lines on their own palms refused to sail near the cliffs of the Grassinese. They spoke of sounds carried on the wind, moans that didn't belong to any living creature, voices that drifted across the night like broken echoes from forgotten realms. Most dismissed these tales as superstitions. Others shuddered and refused to speak of them at all. Yet on this morning, something ancient felt disturbed, as though a force that had ruled the shadows for years sensed the approach of a presence it could not withstand. Dawn fought its way through a dense curtain of fog as a small vessel cut across the water. The waves had been violent through the night, unnaturally violent, but now they fell into an eerie calm, like a predator crouching low, waiting. In the silence, the water breathed. On the far cliffs, a figure moved, barely a silhouette at first. Then another unnatural shape flickered behind it, like a second shadow that didn't match the first. And then another, and another. They shifted, distorted, blending into one another with movements that no human body could make. These shadows watched the approaching boat with the intensity of creatures defending a territory they had long claimed as their own. The man to whom those shadows clung was known only as the Mad Wanderer of the Tombs, a nameless figure in the eyes of the villagers, yet more feared than wolves or thieves or storms. He had roamed the necropolis for years, dwelling among the dead because the living no longer recognized him as one of their own. His body bore the marks of battles fought not with people, but with himself. Jagged scratches lined his torso, deep enough to draw blood, but old enough to scar. Bruises mottled his arms in irregular shapes as though invisible hands gripped and squeezed him until capillaries burst beneath the skin. His eyes, wild, unanchored, shifted rapidly as though tracking things only he could see. He had once been a man, a son, a friend, a member of a community that had tried everything to save him: ropes, chains, guards, even rituals whispered by desperate elders. But none of it worked. Not because he was strong, but because something far stronger lived inside him. Many things. The people of the town had whispered about him in the beginning with pity, then with fear, and eventually with silence. Somewhere along the line, they had stopped referring to him as a person at all. He became a presence, a warning, a living haunting of the land. But on this morning, something changed. He sensed him before he even stepped onto shore. It was as though a beam of fiery light pierced through a maze of suffocating darkness deep inside him, and every creature dwelling there recoiled. The man froze in place on the cliff, trembling violently as unseen forces wrestled for control. His breathing grew rapid, frantic, then guttural. His limbs jerked in directions they weren't meant to move. A low, vibrating growl built up inside his chest, not belonging to anything human. The shadows behind him curled inward. And then in one sudden gut-wrenching motion, the man threw his head upward toward the sky and released a sound that defied natural description. It was a scream split into layers, one voice screaming in agony, another in rage, another in terror, another in defiance. And beneath them all, dozens more. They screamed as one, yet not one. They screamed through him, yet against him. They howled like a legion of trapped beings facing a threat they recognized instantly. Down on the shore, the ground trembled lightly. The air split with a sharp, cold pressure. The lake, moments ago calm, began to ripple outward in circles that grew wider and wider, as though something massive moved just beneath the surface. The boat touched land. A foot stepped onto the wet sand, and every demon in the man shrank back. The man's body rotated sharply like a puppet pulled by conflicting strings. His arms twisted behind him, then forward, then upward uncontrollably. His chest convulsed. He stumbled backward, then forward, then collapsed onto all fours, claws digging into the dirt.
The Haunting of Michael Harper, a Deadly Possession. In the summer of 2016, in a quiet suburb of Chicago, 27-year-old Michael Harper began to change in ways that terrified his family. What started as a simple throat pain quickly escalated into violent, inexplicable behavior. He whispered to himself in unknown voices, muttered about serpents crawling inside his body, and sometimes stared blankly, eyes wide and unblinking, as if someone or something else was controlling him. Family members tried to help, but soon Michael became unpredictable and aggressive. Neighbors reported strange noises coming from his home, shrieks, guttural growls, and the occasional sound of furniture being thrown. At first, his family tried to restrain him during episodes, tying him to his bed and praying, convinced he was disturbing and terrifying. One chilling afternoon, relatives came to visit, hoping to calm him down. Witnesses later said Michael attacked without warning. Some family members were found days later with horrifying injuries, while others disappeared entirely. Authorities never confirmed exactly what happened, and Michael himself vanished into a shadow of rumor and fear. The Harper family told investigators that they had believed Michael was inhabited by a demon, something unnatural that sought to consume both body and soul. They admitted to restraining him for days, hoping prayer and ritual would drive out the darkness. But the darkness seemed to fight back. Even when police were called after weeks of escalating fear, Michael was gone. No hospital records, no arrest. He had vanished, leaving only whispered accounts of his violence and the eerie sense that he was still out there, lurking in plain sight. Some say he fled the city, others whisper he never left, merely hiding in the shadows of those who knew him. WGN News covered the story briefly, reporting, Michael Harper's home was described as a scene of chaos and terror, but with little evidence of what actually occurred. The